Hi guys. The next 2 days we're going to be talking about a new skill that is really important when we're reading a text is inferencing. When we're talking about inferencing, what we're meaning is using what you already know and what the text says to figure out and kind of predict what might happen. So the first thing we're going to do is look at an anchor chart that I have on my computer, and I will pull that up, move myself over. Okay. So, two things you need when you're doing inferencing. For one, you need a text. It can be a picture. It has to be something that's more concrete that you can see, read, understand. And then something called your schema. When I say schema, that means what do you already know? What in your prior knowledge tells you about it? And when you put those two things together, you get an inference. And those are things that help you understand a text. So for example, if I was to ask you, what clues tell you that I'm going to a party later? Well, my text might say all the friends got together and made or blew up balloons. I might she also had party hats ready. Her mom made a cake. Well, so that was the evidence. That was the text, the clues from the text. My schema is, well, okay, balloons are usually at parties, and usually you have a cake at a birthday, so putting those two things together, they're having a birthday party. That is what an inferencing is. So what we're going to do next is we're going to do a couple of things to find out about inferencing. So we're going to read through a couple little blurbs, and we're going to use our inferencing skills to determine if it takes place in the daytime and the nighttime. Okay? Okay. There we go. So the first one we're going to look at is this one right here. The school bell rang. Students walked out the door with their backpacks and homework. Well, the text says that they had their backpacks and their homework, and it says they walked out the door. Well, if they're walking out the door with their things, it doesn't mean that they're just getting there. It means they're leaving, which would probably mean it's more nighttime or evening. This one's kind of a little loosely interpreted because it could represent evening, but I'm going to lean more towards night just for that reason. Next one. We carried the picnic basket to a shady area and opened it. The sandwiches and cookies looked delicious. So our text evidence from here is, there was a picnic basket. It was in a shady area. Well, that'll help us. And then the cookies and the sandwiches. Well, using my schema, shady area means the sun must be out. That's the only way that there can be shade, which means it's daytime. So this is a really great strategy when you're reading a text that's very unfamiliar, when you're trying to understand it. That's what this skill is for. It's to understand a text more as you're reading it and use what you already know. Okay, I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Now we're going to do the next one. There was a loud bang, and then a huge firework burst into the air. The sky was filled with color. Well, the text says there was a firework in the air. I've been to parks and fairs and things, and I've never seen fireworks in the daytime. So, knowing from my schema and from the text saying fireworks, this one probably takes place at night. Next one. I stepped outside barefoot, but I quickly rushed back inside. The concrete was burning hot. So the text says the concrete was hot. I stepped outside, quickly rushed back inside. Okay, well, the fact that the concrete is hot, why would the concrete be hot? Well, I know that in the summertime, when the sun's out for a lot, that actually turns that concrete really hot. So this must be daytime. Next one. The smell of bacon and pancakes woke me up. I rushed to the kitchen for breakfast. Well, from my schema, breakfast. Breakfast is the first meal of the day, so it must be daytime. My mom knocked on the door. Turn out the lights and go to bed, she yelled at me. I jumped under the covers. Well, the text says I jumped under the covers, turned out the lights, go to bed. Well, usually parents want you to go to sleep at night, so this is nighttime. So we're going to do a few more examples that you're going to actually do on your own. And I'm going to give you a little bit of time to be able to figure them out. So let's scroll down a little bit. Okay. Here is what I would like you to do. If I can find my video, there we go. So at least you can see everything. There are 6 different examples. What I want you to do is label them. If you have a paper ready, that'd be great. If not, a whiteboard, or if you just want to remember, that's fine too. And we're going to label it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. On those, you're going to write if it's daytime or nighttime, depending on what the text says. Okay? So I'm going to give you about 3 minutes to be able to read through them, and then we'll talk about them afterwards. So good luck. Have just about 1 minute left. About 30 seconds. Okay, let's go through them. So for number 1, it says, I was getting hotter and hotter by the minute. The swimming pool looked very inviting. I couldn't wait to jump in. Well, hot and hot, swimming pool. I'm going to say that this one was daytime. So nice job if you got that, daytime. I turned on the flashlight and opened the door carefully. The beam of the flashlight lit up our front porch. Well, they needed a flashlight to look outside, and all they could see was the flashlight light up. So this one's nighttime. Number 3, an owl sat in a tree, hooting quietly as he turned his head. Several bats flew by. Well, it says the owl sat in the tree and talked about bats. Using my schema, I know that owls and bats are nocturnal and they only come out in the nighttime. Number 3 is nighttime. Number 4, My dog needed to go outside. I turned on the porch light and then let my dog out into the backyard. Now, this one's a little bit trickier because typically you wouldn't really let a dog outside at night, but sometimes you have to. And the clue in this one was turn on the porch light. Because they turned on the porch light, that's a clue that it was dark, which means this is also nighttime. Number 5. An airplane soared across the sky. It blended in with the stars around it and looked like it was flying towards the moon. Well, the text says about the stars and the moon. My schema knows that those only come out at night. So, number 5 is nighttime. And lastly, number 6. The mailman finally arrived. He put letters in our mailbox. I rushed to the letters and grabbed the one on top. This one doesn't come right out. Well, the fact that the mailman had arrived, I know that my mailman doesn't usually come at night, so this one would actually be daytime. So that is it. So let's review real quick. Inferencing is using what a text or image is saying and what our schema or our brain has in its background knowledge in order to understand a text further and create an inference. It's really important that those two things are connected. Those are going to help you understand a text. So your exit ticket that you're going to complete is going to do some more practice on that, where you're going to read some text and you're going to figure out the inference for them. And then tomorrow we're going to be detectives and see if we can use those inferencing skills to solve some mysteries. So I will see y'all tomorrow and have a good night.